Yo, what is up guys, welcome to a new video. Today I'm gonna talk about how to layer drums. It depends on the genre, you're gonna use more drums or less drums. So I didn't really know what kind of genre should I make for this tutorial. But at the end I decided to make just a progressive house track. You know, the drop of a progressive house track can have lots of drums or different drums. As always, I wanna say thank you for your support in the previous tutorials. And if you want more kind of tutorial of this style on how to layer things, you know what you have to do. Just leave a like, subscribe so you don't miss any tutorial, and leave me in the comment section what kind of tutorial do you want. It can also be another thing, not just how to layer sounds. It can be how to do other things, how to design a sound or thing like that. Or also you can challenge me, like, hey, make a progressive house track with just this kind of sounds or things like that. Just leave me in the comments and we make it. And before you leave this video, I want to say that at the end I'm gonna give the FLP of this tutorial for free, so you can just have the drums and you can understand better how I use them and all these things. Okay, so nothing else guys, and let's get to the video. Alright guys, so here I have some drums, just a kick, claps, pre-shifted claps, rides, shakers, another shaker, percussions, and a crash. I would normally put this crash on effects, but well, just to add more things. Okay, so the first thing you need to have in mind is that you cannot put all the sounds at the same volume in the center, all these things, because they're gonna fight for the place, and it's gonna sound super, super bad. You need to have in mind that all the sounds need its purpose, you cannot have just them because you like them and add a lot of things, because at the end it's gonna sound super bad. So you need to think about EQing, moving them to the sides and all these things. Alright, about the volumes, I already set the volumes at a normal volume where I like it. And if you want to know how I do this, it's super simple, but I can explain it with a tutorial because it's using a technique. The first thing what I would do is start with the kick and EQ it if I need it or a thing like that. In this case, I'm not gonna touch the kick. And then, for example, in this case, I'm gonna add the claps. And as you can hear, the claps has a lot of attack. And the problem here is that the attack of the claps are gonna blur the attack of the kick, and you don't want that. The attack of the kick needs to be always the cleanest as possible. So the first thing I would do here is to add a volume shaper, just a little bit at the beginning and at the end. This way you're gonna leave a space for the attack of the kick. Let's compare before and after. As you can hear, the attack of the kick is a lot cleaner now. And then what I will do is some EQ. And on the claps, what I do is I reduce on the lows. I reduce a bit on the highs to leave a space for the rights if I have them. And a bit, or not always, it depends on the claps, but I reduce a bit here to make the sound cleaner and tighter. The next thing, I pre-shift the clap. I would make the same, just some EQ to cut the lows, and a bit of sidechain here, but not that much, because I like the effect of the pre-shifted clap, and if I do this so hard, it's gonna be loose, and I don't want that. Before, after. The attack of the kick is a lot cleaner now. Next thing, the rides. With the rides, it happens the same as in the clap. It has a lot of attack, so I'm gonna take out a bit of this attack. Lot cleaner now. And then some EQ where I'm gonna cut all of this because I don't need it. You maybe cannot hear that part, but there is some sound there, and if you start adding those little things of all the drums, at the end you're gonna have a lot of sound in this area, and it's gonna make it sound bad at the end. So I prefer to cut a bit, and I reduce it a bit here because I thought there were too much highs. Okay, now about the shakers. The shakers, the thing is that I like to add different shakers. For example, this one at the beginning, and then these three, they are the same. So it's a bit different, It's not always the same like this. It's something a bit different, and adds more rhythm and makes it more interesting. And what I do with the shakers, well, I did a lot of things. The first thing is some kickstart, some sidechain to make it sound like with more rhythm. Then some EQ, the same as the ride, just to cut here to leave a space. And then what I did here is to add some the haze effect and delay to make it wider and move it to the sides, but I'm gonna talk about this later. So now, okay, then I like to add some percussions like this. Sometimes what I like to do to give more rhythm and make it more natural is to move this a bit to the right, this a bit to the left, you know, and make it different in this part. So this way is more natural and is different. It's not that static, you know. The problem here is that the percussion has a lot of low end, you know, and at this part you maybe cannot really hear the lows of this percussion, but at this part the problem is that you have the kick, so you're gonna make the kick sound bad because you're adding more lows, and the attack of the kick is gonna be blurred and all these things. So instead of cutting here like this, you know, what I prefer to do is to use some sidechain. In this case, what I did is to use the pick controller. To do this, you have to right-click on the thing you want, you know. So I decided to touch this knob. So right-click, link to controller, go here, and choose the peak of the kick in this case. And on the mapping formula, you have to click inverted. Okay, so now every time the kick hits, it's gonna lower this knob, so it's gonna give more space for the kick. Okay, so you don't really hear the difference, but if you hear just the low end, it's gonna be a lot cleaner. And well, at the end, just this crash where I just did the same, cut a bit of the beginning to leave a space for the kick. Okay, so now about EQing and volume, everything is right, you know. There are not things that are too loud. About EQing, all the sound has an area, you know. And we gave some space for the attack of the kick, so the kick sounds cleaner. So now, what should we do? Well, what I would do now is to move things to the sides, you know, make them wider or more mono or things like that. What I like to do is move the claps a bit to the left and the right a bit to the right, okay? The right a bit to the right. Yeah. So let's try it a bit. Just move maybe 10% to the left, the claps, and maybe the right's also 10% to the right. About the pre-shifted clap, I like it on the center. So what I would do is maybe make it mono if it's not, or not completely mono, but maybe 70% or thing like that. About the shakers, I used these effects, okay? The has effect, what it does is to delay one side, so the effect at the end is that you make it to one side. The problem here was it was on one side and the other side was like really empty, so what I decided to do is put some delay and pan the delay to the left, okay? Because the has effect makes the shaker be on the right. And with the delay, what I do is cover the space of the left. Okay, so now we have this. About the percussions, as the percussions are giving a lot of rhythm, they are pretty loud in the mix, you know, more or less at the same volume of the kick. What I like to do is put them at the center, you know, completely in mono. Or sometimes what I like to do is put it really to one side, you know, completely to the left or completely to the right. In this case, what I'm gonna do is put it in mono, so it's in the center and it's giving a lot of rhythm. And about the crashes, well, sometimes what I do, in this case, for example, this crash is like that, it moves left to the right, or I just open it, or things like that. Alright, so now at this point we have a space, talking about the EQ, a space talking about the stereo imaging, you know, things to the sides, things on the center and all these things. We have the kick a lot cleaner. So now, what should we do? Well, it depends. For example, if you think that your claps are too high or they are not powerful enough or things like that, just add another clap. Alright, so for example, as these claps are pretty high, I decided to put these claps a lot lower. So what I would do now? Well, the thing is that what I like to do is to mix these two things together and then mix it with the other thing. What I would do is don't put the first claps to the left. Take those two claps, move it to a bus. Alright, so I would mix them by itself, and then I would mix them with the track. So this volume shaper can be here on the bus and not here. So this way we save more CPU because we are not using it on two mixed channels, just on one. These claps they are lower. What I would do is first cut the low end, then cut the highs, not that much, just a little bit, because the highs are covered by this one. Without this clap, with this clap. And then here on the bus, I would mix it with everything. So for example, I think there's too much mid, so reduce a bit. And I think it needs more highs, maybe. Cut a bit the lows. You know, and now move them to the left. Before it was like this, and now it's like this. Everything is like that, you know. If you want more rides, so do the same. Mix all the rides you have together, and then create a bus with the rides, and then mix the rides with the rest of the element. In my opinion, this is the cleanest way. This is the better way, you know. Well, there is not a better way. At the end, if it sounds good, it's good. But I think this way you're gonna make everything sound cleaner and tighter and more in the place it needs to be. Well, these are my tips. So if you have other tips or suggestions, just leave it in the comments. Okay guys, and nothing else. This is the tutorial. I will put a link to this FOP on the description so you can download it, use it, check how I did the things, check the volumes, whatever. Just use it however you want. Use it for the tracks or wherever you want. So nothing else guys. Remember to leave a like, subscribe and leave a comment about the next tutorial you want me to do. And guys, see you in the next video.